In celebration of 2,000 subscribers, I asked you guys, my community, to give me your hot takes. Instead of going to Reddit or Twitter, I wanted to keep it to just my community. So I made a community post last week and asked you guys to give me as many of your hot takes as you can. You guys ended up giving me 40 of them. So this video did run a little long, but I wanted to make sure I got to each and every hot take and read it and made sure that I did everything as clearly as I possibly can. So I hope you guys enjoy the extra long video today. This will probably be the longest video I ever make for Dead by Daylight, but yeah, enjoy the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. So I actually wanted to start with this hot take here. I say hot take. I don't really think this is a hot take. The Legion is fine the way they are, because especially judging from the comments on my Legion video, which you do mention down here, I think most people disagree with me on how much I hate Legion. So let's get this out of the way. I completely, obviously disagree with you here, right? You can't remove mending as a vital part of their kit. I don't really care. It's stupid and it's boring and it's just not fun to play against, and I hate it. I think here's a hot take to counter your regular take. I think Legion is the single most boring killer to play against in this entire fucking game. Mostly because the way that the majority of the Legion mains play Legion, you cannot get anything done. Nobody gets anything done, right? It's not just that the survivors can't get anything done, because that would be a different story, you know, because like when pigs are played effectively, survivors can't get anything done. But I'm talking about with Legion specifically, neither the survivor nor the killer gets anything done. We just don't. It's stupid, boring. It's not fun. It's not interesting. I don't like it. It's just every time I hear the Legion chase music, I just give up on whatever goal I'm trying to accomplish and just take the fucking L, because most of the time it will lead to a 20+ minute match of just mending over and over and over and over and over again, because it seems like the vast majority of Legion players are desperate to get that 5th hit for their lethality, and they just won't do anything else. So you just spend the entire match playing Mending Simulator 5000, and it's not that Legion needs to slow down from mending, sure, but they don't do anything with that slowdown, so it's worthless. As for mentioning my fixing the Legion video, here's a fun fact for everyone. That's not the rework I wanted to do. That is the rework that I used as a compromise to try to keep the fast-paced Legion gameplay. If I had it my way, I would turn Legion into more of a stealth or illusion-based killer rather than what I proposed in that video. But I wanted to, when I do my how to fix videos, they're not so much my dream rework as they are my idea for what could realistically be put in the game. And for that rework, I did not want to take away the fast-paced playstyle of Legion. But what I really wanted to focus on was these words here. I really like you and your creativity, but... And then they said that idea was really bad. And that's fine. That's fine. If you think the idea is really bad, I'm not going to, I'm not going to be mad at you. This is what I wanted to focus on. I really like you and your creativity. I think, and I don't know if this is true, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you are one of my most common commenters in the community. I do recognize your name. I think that this clarifier comes from my anger at the comments on my Odd Starva video. Now, I'm not going to get into to everything. I don't feel like kicking the hornet's nest right now, but I will say that I spoke with my good friend Aaron Duke a couple of days ago and asked him his thoughts on that Odd Starva video. And I won't share our entire conversation, but what I will say is that Aaron told me that while he sees where I was coming from, and he knows me well enough to know that any perceived slight against Otz himself came from the fact that it was the way I said it, not so much my intention of my words. And so while Aaron knows what I was saying and my supporters know what I was saying in that video, people who don't know me or aren't used to the way I talk, aren't used to me slipping in sarcastic jokes and regular sentences and things like that, really weren't able to pick up on a lot of the things that I was saying because they were too focused on how the things were coming across. And that's a lot of reason why in more recent videos I've calmed down a bit. But I want you guys to know and understand that I'll never be mad at you for disagreeing with me. It's in the fact, the point of the Oddstarver video was that you should disagree with me, that you should never just blindly agree. I don't want blind agreeers, right? I don't want people just agreeing with me because they like me or agreeing with me because they think I'm smart. I'm not smart, by the way. I'm a fucking moron. But if you disagree with me, you don't have to put a caveat that you like me, but what I said was something you didn't agree with, right? As long as you don't like outright attack me for the things I'm saying, then I will always take disagreements. Even if the entire comment section is just nothing but disagreements, I understand. I do not think that I'm infallible. And I'll even take a lot of criticism in stride. Like on my 7 perks video, there were quite a few people who were suggesting ways to fix courageous tackle, and it was a lot of really good suggestions. I took it to heart. I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right about this. You're right about that. So sometimes I'll even change my mind with the way that I'm saying things. So that's why I wanted to start with this comment. But let's move on. So I'm going to go from the bottom up because it only lets me sort by newest first instead of like newest last or something like that. So we're going to go from the bottom up. So we started with this one right here, and then we're going to just move on up, and I'm just going to go through each of these, show them on screen and respond to them. And hopefully this video doesn't last like 40 minutes. Adrenaline is the best survivor perk and should be nerfed. It should either give you the free health state or the 5-second haste, not both. Also remove the interaction where survivor wakes up from the dream world if they have adrenaline, because why? So I agree with the first 5 words here. Well, not fully agree. It's one of the best survivor perks. It's not the single best survivor perk in the game. I don't think there is a single best survivor perk in the game, but adrenaline is definitely S tier. Should be nerfed. It really shouldn't. Even though it is one of the most powerful perks, the inherent balance to it only popping on the last gen is perfectly fine. The free health state and the 5-second haste is perfectly fine. It only pops in the end game, which means you have to make it there. And then the free health state that it gives is not always necessarily going to help you. I have had countless occasions, both as survivor and killer, where I'll be downed and then the free health state will kick in and then I'll immediately get downed again because I went down right in front of the killer, you know? Plus, if you're like deep wounded, it goes away. If you're a killer who like is constantly running into adrenaline and you're not happy about it, you can run what is that perk called? It's a Wesker perk. Terminus. You can run Terminus, and that will inherently counter. Also remove the interaction where the survivor wakes up from the dream world if they have adrenaline, because why? Yeah, I think that we're past the no, yes and no, because on one hand I see where they're coming from, because it's just such a random interaction, like it comes completely out of fucking nowhere, right? But on the other hand, I think that perks being able to counter killer powers is interesting. So like Calm Spirit inherently counters Doctor. I had a background Doctor gameplay for one of my more recent videos, and the Jake got away without ever being hit because he was running Calm Spirit, and I could not find him. He was always just he was always right out of reach. Even though I could still affect him with my power, he was always right out of reach. And I thought that was a really funny and cool interaction. You know, he didn't know he was going to come against Doctor. He was running Calm Spirit for Alien Instinct, or Ultimate Weapon. But yeah, no. So like I said, I agree with like the first part sort of, and completely disagree with everything else you said. The twins aren't that bad or unfun to play as. I had just unlocked them today. This was 6 days ago. And they're incredibly fun in my opinion. Sure, that's obviously a more subjective thing. Well, I mean, this is hot takes. It's all subjective. But it feels like they are the chase version of Skull Merchant, whereas you can keep Victor in an area to watch over the Jinn when he's hidden somewhere, or send someone but is within his radius whilst you're on the other side of the map, effectively acting as a radar of some sort. That's not the way you play twins effectively, but we'll get to that in a second. But at the same time, you can control him freely whenever you want, and you can also down or injure survivors. Either way, you'd be a nuisance to them. Let's not forget the fact that Charlotte has the infect Insidious while controlling Victor. Yeah, but she's also fucking huge, so like the Insidious doesn't do much. I've gotten a couple of free kills from just positioning Charlotte well when I wanted to use Victor. And I've only been playing her for a few games too. People should learn to enjoy other genres of killer. Not everyone should be. So I think you just completely misunderstand why people don't like the twins. And speaking as a twins connoisseur, the first thing about the twins is that they are the buggiest killer in the game. They are consistently unfucking playable. They have so many bugs that hit them that will lock you out of using Victor, lock you out of using Charlotte, lock you out of like moving, like completely moving. I have a clip somewhere on my Twitch channel from earlier this year where I was playing the twins and I completely got fucked by a bug that I tried to use Victor and it forced me to look at the ground, and then when I tried to use Victor again, I just couldn't move. I just couldn't move at all. And I think they patched that bug, but I think like 4 other bugs have come up. The other thing I want you to realize, because I don't know if you know this, but your MMR on killers that you've never played is always going to be lower than your average matches. While the inherent design of the twins is fun, I'll give you that, because of their buggy state, they're just they feel unplayable. Victor is inconsistent with leaps. The kick window for him is inconsistent. Sometimes you'll be backing up and the survivors will still be able to kick you for whatever reason. Like they'll still be able to run up and do the kick animation and it'll just lock you in place. But also, like I said, your MMR is lower. So when you made this comment 6 days ago, you said you've only been playing her for a few games. Your first few games on her are going to be inherently easier because she's a new killer for you. As you continue playing with them, and your MMR goes up, you'll start finding all of the things that effectively harm the twins. The only benefit the twins really have, like in general, to like as far as being like a good killer, is that hardly anybody knows how to play her, or anybody knows how to play against them, because hardly anybody plays them. It's not that they're unfun, it's that they become unplayable a lot of times. And they also can feel kind of clunky when you're switching between the two of them. There's a lot of minor adjustments that have to be done to the twins that I'm waiting for Behavior to release their rework so I can see if it's worth making a video or not. This one's a doozy, so bear with me. Okay, all right, okay, let me get some water real quick. When making a tier list, most people only take playing the killer in the most optimal way into consideration, which is why Pyramid Head, for example, is always placed A tier, the main reason being tunneling out of cages being extremely powerful at high level of play. Yes and no. So I did read the rest of this. I'm just not going to read it on camera. I'm not going to read it on camera because I'm trying to get through the video. But if you guys want to pause to read it, you can. It's all going to be available on screen. But So when people when people who know what they're talking about, I should say, make a tier list. Generally, what they do is they take into consideration how many situations something may be good in. So I mentioned in my I was wrong about these perks video that what a lot of people don't understand about objective power of things is how good those things are in how many situations they are. The less situational something is, the stronger it is. Which is when I did my whole spiel about Ned and his, super specific, this is actually good in, planets align, all sorts of dumb shit. But Pyramid Head is always placed in A tier because he can hit you through walls. You can use his cage to bypass all of the hook perks in the entire game. He is a very effective gen kicker. Because his power is so good in chase, he doesn't need to fill in any gaps. So if you run a seriously good gen kicking build with him, with maybe a little bit of aura reading, he becomes stupid powerful. And that's the same reason why the Nurse and the Blight are S tier killers. Because you mentioned, like down here, you mentioned with strong add-ons. Nurse and Blight do not need strong add-ons. They're S tier killers because their map-wide pressure is so inherently good that even without add-ons, they're the strongest killers in the game. When you're talking about the Skull Merchant, right? When you're talking about where she lies, and you talk about the borderline unbeatable strategy of the 3-genning, you say she has the potential to be the best killer in the game solely because of how easy and effective her 3-genner head-ass strategy is. But the reason she's not potentially considered the best killer in the game is because that is the only situation where she is good. And should that part of the game ever be nerfed, or should she ever fuck up at any given point to stop the 3-gen from breaking, which is possible. It's I'm not going to say it's not easy, but I'm not going to say it's not hard, but I'm also not going to say it's easy as well. You know what I mean? Like I have in solo queue broken 3-gens on chess merchants because they were not paying effective enough attention to what was going on. Like they would put their drone, they would ignore one of their drones that was in scout mode, or they would place the drone in such a way that it just barely did not cover one corner of the gen, and I would go work on it and break it with Deja Vu. You cannot just judge off of the pinnacle of what the character can accomplish. You have to judge off of the amount of situations the character is good in. And because Skull Merchant is only really truly effective in one specific situation that you have to go through the process of setting up with specific perks and sometimes even with specific add-ons, she doesn't have the potential to be the best killer in the game because of that. The only reason the devs refuse to buff Trapper is because he is your first killer and all the DLC killers are better, equals spend money. This is, I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you, man. This is one of the dumbest takes I hear on a consistent basis. The best killer in the game is free. Most of the killers in the game can be brought with iridescent shards, which is just grinding out. Even the really strong perks that are too licensed people can end up in the shrine. Although that third point's probably a bad argument, to be honest, because the shrine is just dog shit. But the point is that the point is that this is just a bad take. I think that a lot of people are so focused on corporate capitalist greed that they just kind of ignore all of the benefits that are given to free-to-play players. Like, yeah, it takes a large time investment, and I understand that. But if you watch I have a very old video called Monetization in Dead by Daylight. If you watch that video, I actually point out how much, like, raw shit you get with free-to-play. If survivors run into me taking a hit after they got unhooked, it's fair game to hunt them down. Yeah, no, 100% agree. 100% agree, dude. Like, your borrowed time is to stop me from tunneling you. You use it for a protection hit, I'm going to kill you. Fuck off. Boon totems should be one-time use like Hex. No, I made an entire video about this. Hex should be like boons, not the other way around. Hex totems should be able to set up the same as boon. Yeah, that's what I just said. Not more than one effect per boons, though. Agree. So many times my hex spawn. Yeah. I'll be real with you. This take kind of contradicts this one, but we'll go with it. 4 changes I'd make. Okay. Exhaustion makes you 3% slower. No. No. There's no reason to add hindered to exhaustion. Exhaustion is there to stop you spamming exhaustion perks. There shouldn't be another caveat to it. Adrenaline leaves you exhausted for the rest of the trial. Doesn't work while exhausted, and maybe remove the speed. What is y'all's hatred with adrenaline here, bro? No, leave adrenaline alone. It's fine. It's adrenaline is perfectly balanced. Also, it would be the only perk that would exhaust you for the rest of the trial. That's stupid. Hope is 1% faster, but it makes you exhausted for the remainder of the trial, so 5%. What? I don't understand this one. I'm going to move on. Survivors should never move faster than the 110% cap. Cap it to 109% to make perks like Sprint Burst last longer in comparison. Completely disagree. Things like Sprint Burst, Lithe, Balanced, basically all exhaustion perks giving the 150% burst. Especially because, if you did this, then that would also get rid of the 150% burst that you get from getting hit. So getting hit would basically be an instant loss. There would be no point in having 2 health states. No, absolutely not. And last one, I promise, it's fine. You could have made 50 of these. I don't know if I would have read them all, but you could have made it. Make endurance effects visible, and you get hit, you gain no speed. I don't agree with the no speed, but I do agree with making endurance effects visible. I also agree with making exposed effects visible. I think that survivors who are exposed should have a thin red outline so that you as the killer know who's exposed and how to play around it. That's one of the changes I've been proposing for a long time. Make Kindred base kit without the killer's aura reading. I agree. I do not understand why when someone is on the hook, you as the survivor cannot see the rest of your team in order to make a better play. This definitely, yes. The hottest takes. Better burn my tongue off, Rocket James. I'm watching you. Okay. Slinger is an A tier for his anti-loop. Absolutely not. Slinger suffers at pallets, which I have an idea for a Slinger rework video. Not rework, a Slinger buff video, I guess you should say. That will make one of his iridescent add-ons help with pallets. But Slinger suffers heavily at pallets, and he also suffers at tall walls but short loops. So like TL loops, for example, where the walls are very tall, but the survivor can turn the corner extremely fast. He suffers a lot there. Slinger is probably a low B, high C tier killer. Just because he only has like 2 good add-ons, and that's really a pain in the ass. Myers is better than content creators says. He just involves more skill. You know what? That's definitely something. Myers does not have the map pressure, and he is too slow. He suffers from the exact same problem as Trapper. He takes entirely too long to get to the good part of his kit, and by the time you get there, most of the time the survivors will have such a leg up on you that you're not really going to get much done. Now, I mained Myers for like 2 weeks straight in order to complete both of the Myers achievements, And I did pretty well for myself, but that's only because I play mostly M1 killers anyway, and that's all Myers is a glorified M1 killer that takes forever to get an actual power going. Artis is the best killer in the game due to Jin, gate, and loot pressure. No. Artis is just barely missing out on being the best killer in the game because elevation fucks her so much. And while there's not like every map has elevation, there is a lot of elevation in the maps. And that just completely hurts her. That hurts her just enough to keep her out of S tier. Killers like Nurse, Blight, and Spirit are all in S tier because there's nothing really to stop them. The only one in that gets stopped by anything is Blight struggles on Coquin Farms because there's not a lot of bounce potential. But even then, his across the map pressure is so strong that you don't really need to worry about that. And Nurse will always be the best killer in the game because being able to avoid the basic fundamentals of what makes looping possible is just way too strong. Made for this as a completely balanced perk? Absolutely not. Permanent haste on survivors. Permanent haste in general is never really a good idea. The only reason play with your food isn't meta is because you lose those haste stacks the second you hit anybody. But if you didn't lose, if you only lost haste stacks when you say hit the obsession, then play with your food would be a meta perk because permanent haste is just way too fucking strong. So no, it's not. Blood point grinding is easy. It absolutely is. That's part of the problem. We get so many blood points and then we dump them into characters and then we basically get nothing for them. That was the point of my video yesterday because this is going to go up Monday. So today I'm filming this as Sunday, but that was point of my video yesterday. Is that blood point? You get so many fucking blood points from every goddamn source that, yeah, DBD isn't toxic. You're just bad. Unironically, a toxic comment. Most content creators undervalue good killers. I'd have to get you to elaborate on that one. Clown is actually fun to play as and against. No, I'm sick and tired of my screen becoming a goddamn fucking Hall of Illusions album cover from the goddamn Insane Clown Posse every time I get hit by one of those fucking bottles. Fun to play as? Kinda, yeah. I actually have fun playing as Clown occasionally. I think that there's a lot about Clown's inherent design that's really satisfying to play as, but to play against, absolutely not. There's a reply here. What does it say? Personally, I forget the Clown exists. Okay, Tools of Torment was a better chapter than Portrait of Murder. Sure, Merchant was a big miss, but Ronaldo and Thalita were cool and introduced a new perk type, which I hope we see more of in the future, and Shelter Woods is nice. Also, I really like the rework Red Forest, but that might be hotter than the main take. I don't know. I think a lot of people like the rework Red Forest. It's more pretty, more visually appealing. I think that a lot of people's problem was that they added a dickload of foliage to it, and that was... that was kind of hard. I feel like when you get grabbed vaulting while healthy and you wiggle off, you should stay healthy. No, that's bad. Just makes more sense logically. It really doesn't. Did the killer choking you cause you to start bleeding? Sure. I mean, why not? Lastly, I think Deathslinger's Warden key should be made into base kit and given a new effect. I completely agree. I was against this initially, but everyone runs it already, so it's more like letting him use 2 add-on slots without feeling punished for it. Yeah, no. What's down here? What does it say? Also prove that... Holy shit, I'm not reading all that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna stick to one hot take per comment, okay? This video's already at fucking 29 minutes. I might split this video into 2, to be honest. Thirst baiting has ruined the tone and atmosphere of both the game and the community. I disagree. I've heard this be put forward before. But one of the counter arguments is that sex and horror go inherently hand in hand. Especially in the slasher genre, which, make no mistake, Dead by Daylight is the slasher genre. It has never been anything but the slasher genre, so I think thirst baiting is fine. The twins are one of the coolest killers in the game in terms of gameplay and story, and are extremely fun to play as and against. I don't fully disagree. It's just like what I was saying earlier about the twins. They're consistently very buggy and a little bit clunky, so even though I personally enjoy them, I know why they're not, why a lot of people don't play them. The Hell Priest is one of, if not the most well-designed and authentic licensed killer in the game. I don't disagree with that, actually. I think that he does definitely have the running for the most well-designed licensed killer. But maybe we'll do a video about that because Pinhead is my main. Dead Hard is still good. Yeah, it's just not as good as it was because of the activation requirement. I think that honestly, and this is going to be a hot take and people are probably going to hate me, but I think that if you don't take a hit from Dead Harding, it should not deactivate. I think you should still get exhausted, so you can't just spam it and chase. But I think that if you use it and you don't actively take the hit, it shouldn't deactivate. That's my hot take for the day. Trickster isn't difficult to play as. You literally just have to hold down right. You've never played Trickster. You've never played Trickster. Hold down right click and then spam your knives. Okay, so when they fucking turn the corner and your slow ass is moving at fucking 3.68 speed and they're constantly avoiding your knives, then what, genius? What? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be such a jackass to you here, man, but you just don't play Trickster. I just refuse to believe you play Trickster. We need more mommy skins. Yes, we have like so many shirtless male skins. We need more bikini and lingerie skins. Nurse is the best killer in the game. Okay, buddy. All right. The Nemesis is in need of a buff, not a rework. A buff. He's the only killer that has to hit you 3 times, and it feels really bad when you know a chase is going to be a third longer than needed. I think you mean 3 times longer than needed. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just can't do math. Also, she has 3 zombies with a possibility of a 4th one via add-on. So I definitely agree with this part, 3 zombies. But I want to talk about this real quick. A lot of people bring this up when especially in my Nemesis video when I made it. A lot of people bring up like, oh, he's the only killer that has to hit you 3 times. But what you have to understand is that the idea behind that is that the zombies are also a part of the power that can damage you. And Behavior didn't want to make the zombies able to just take a health state with no, what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't want the zombies to be able to take a health state with, without a limiter on it. So what we could do, I should say, the best thing to do would be to, make the infection be like a pheromone, right? So when a survivor is infected, it like lets the zombie notice them from like, say, further away. And maybe while the zombie is pursuing someone who's infected, they move faster, like increase their speed to like 4.0 or something like that. You know what I mean? So that they move as fast as the survivor sprints. Or 4.1 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it'll still take the zombie a while to catch up, but still give the survivor a chance to counterplay. That's what I think should happen over just being like, why don't you just let the tentacle deal health states? Make the infection mean something unique. You know what I mean? I think is the way to fix that. Okay, several for you. Outstanding. Let's see here. Adrenaline needs another requirement. Fuck it. What is it with you guys in nerf trying to nerf adrenaline? God damn it. Why does my community hate adrenaline so much? Come on, guys. BioShock chapter over a FNAF chapter. Agree. The pig should have some way to get her traps back, like getting them from lockers. I don't know about that one. I think just increasing the base number for traps would be fine. Hex Undying should start unlit. Yes. I have no fucking clue why Hex Undying it starts lit so that the survivors can just completely get rid of it before it has a chance to save one of your other fucking totems, dude. Oh man, yes, 100%. Eerie add-on should be strong. They're the exactly, dude. I think that there are some iridescent add-ons that are a little bit too powerful, but there's like not very many of them. I think iridescent add-ons are supposed to be stupid strong. You don't get them very often. Dread should be immune to flashlights. No. We should never implement an inherent immunity to an item in any killer. You said during Nightfall, realistically, instead of immunity, you could do like maybe less effective. like the blind doesn't last as long, sure, I'll take that. But I don't think immunity to I don't think inherent built-in immunity to items is a good idea. If they aren't going to make a long window, if they aren't going to make long window loops shorter, then killers should be given faster volt speeds to compensate. I'm not talking. I'd say 20 to 25%. No. I think that realistically speaking, they just need to change the way some of the loops are made. I think increasing volt speed base kit would just lead to way too many situations where survivors get downed when they shouldn't have. And the cooldown that the killer has to deal with in between using their power and attacking should either be shorter or removed. It depends on the killer. It just depends on the killer. I think it needs to be a case-by-case basis. The Pyramid Head buff in that one PTB where he applied Torment on the fiery, the shooty hit. I don't know what this stands for. Pain of something. Hit should have made it in the game as a replacement for one of his lackluster iridescent add-ons. Yes, that is what and I think Sergeant Fidget. I think, was it Sergeant Fidget? It was one of us. Or it was one of them. Were saying this. It's the guy who's the big Pyramid Head main. Was saying that one of his iridescent add-ons should do this. And I've been saying this for a while. I don't understand why Pyramid Head's iridescent add-ons are so dog shit. One of them should definitely be apply Torment when you throw the Judgment of Pain out. I just don't get why it doesn't do that. I don't know. That's like such an obvious iridescent add-on. My hot take is that we need more sexy outfits for guys. Absolutely. Sexy outfits for everyone. Okay. DBD doesn't have a terrible community. I would say that ever since my video talking about the toxicity in the community, the big one, where I was disagreed with Aaron Duke, I'd say a lot more people have shown me more examples of good in the community. And I'm starting to think that the toxicity is more of a balance between the two. The Oni sucks. I think you just don't know how to play Oni. Easy A tier killer. Ghostface has the best tome. I played through the tome, but I didn't read anything, so I couldn't tell you. Ghostface is the best stealth character. That would probably actually go to Wraith, to be honest with you. Ghostface has no bad skins. True. Demogorgon has I don't know. I don't play the Demogorgon. Dead by Daylight is fun. Absolutely. Singularity was a good chapter. But Singularity is very lackluster because EMPs are way too strong. Sharp Hand Joe versus Freddy Krueger. I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know what this is. Dredge is overrated. You take that back, you filthy mongrel. Stealth Xenomorph is the best type of Xenomorph. Absolutely. Dead by Daylight is better than the Texas Chain. Of course it is. Of course it is. But, I haven't... you know what? I should say not. Of course, I should not say of course it is because I have not played either of these games. But I don't think Dead by Daylight would be as prominent as it was while Friday the 13th of dying if it wasn't a better game. Fighting Swifts is fun. Fighting Swifts is fun as long as they're not a bully Swift. Tunneling doesn't make you a monster. No, I agree. Freddy is fun. He can be. Hillbilly is boring. Yeah, it's because his skill ceiling his skill floor is unbelievably fucking high. Stranger Things should return. I don't really think that's a hot take. RPD is fun. You are completely wrong. Nerf the Pig is still funny. It is not. Albert Wesker sucks. He does not. This list is short. Your mom's a hoe. No, I'm just kidding. That was so rude. Why did I say that? No. Thanks for the comment, though. I appreciate it. Speed stacking from MFT is useful in fun builds. The freeness. Yes. This is what I've been saying. Speed stacking is not the problem. It is the free permanent 3% that is the problem. Make it earned more. Yes, definitely. I like this last part. If anyone disagrees, they're just a sweaty survivor mainer, clueless how low MMR killer made. I love that. Okay, balancing from a game can be done way easier by holy shit, hold up. This was an entire paragraph. Okay. Balancing from a game can be done way easier by coming up with a concept, making it strong, and then adding conditions to it to keep it from being overpowered. For example, Sprint Burst isn't overpowered. However, most people would say it is a strong effect. This is because the exhaustion effect balances it out, allowing for a comfortable dynamic. An inverse to this is Noed. You do not have a downside for the insta-downs at the end of the game. You actually do. I'll get to that in a second. second, nor is it tied to the element of build-up or skillful play the same way something like Devour is. As such, the community has collectively decided Noed could suck a fat one. We need more strong perk effects than once the strength is there. See how it can either be earned or given with a limiter to avoid it becoming overpowered. I hate to say this because you haven't outright said it, but it sounds like one of your implications is that Noed is overpowered. I just want to make this clear. Noed is one of the weakest killer perks in the game. It is like a C tier perk because Noed, this is especially, I've made an entire rant about this before, but Noed is the kind of perk that teaches bad habits. It's not overpowered at all. It has to pop in the end game, right? So the exit gates have to be powered. And then once it is popped, unlike any other hex in the game, the survivors can find it by looking for the aura. So all they have to do is run around the map and look for the aura. Also, it is only useful on killers who use mainly basic attacks and who know how to catch up. So it's not even really that useful on someone like Trapper, for example, right? Which is like a killer that a lot of people use it on because again, it's a perk for baby killers. Just in general, I get where you're coming from with like the top here, like your initial balancing in a game can be done way easier, keeping it overpowered. But I think that you need to understand that some people view things as overpowered when they're not, and some people view things as underpowered when they're not. And a great example is you bringing up Noed here. Noed's not an overpowered perk. It's one of those things that Noed's not an overpowered perk. It's one of those things that is just, it's actually a pretty bad perk. And a lot of people normally in lower MMRs or who are newer to the game think it's overpowered until you realize that realistically, it's only ever usable to catch one survivor and then the rest of the survivors can just leave. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's that. Just pressure gens is a terrible argument that can easily go both ways. Being a survivor and saying X killer doesn't have any counterplay, they're too powerful at loops. I could easily reply to any survivor, just pressure gens. I don't know about that. I think that just pressure gens is a terrible argument for killers who are weaker. You know what I mean? I think that argument just comes from a misunderstanding of what goes into playing killer. So it's never as simple as just pressuring gens, absolutely, which I think you say right here. A lot of survivors seem to focus on the chase part of the game. I see this with content creators, normal players, even the current survivor meta is chase focus. Is it? Is it chase focus? I guess with made for this, I could see that. That being said, even said just pressure gens to a survivor is just as moronic. Yeah, absolutely. No. I agree with this. I agree with this for the most part. Yeah. The game is not worth $20. Disagree. You get, I have a video called the monetization of Dead by Daylight. It absolutely, for $20, you get a shitload of stuff. And to be completely realistic with you, I think charging less for it would be stupid. But you have a second part here. The Almighty, the game is not pay to win because the nurse is included in the base game and a bunch of outdated general perks. They should honestly lower the price knowing we have such a stupid number of non-refundable DLCs. You know what? Here's what I'll tell you. They could probably drop it to 15 and be okay because of the DLCs. I agree with this part, but I think lower than 15. I think that lower than 15 would just be like a silly business decision. Because at the end of the day, they do have licensed DLCs. But I still think that cosmetic prices need to go down. Because we have the cosmetic prices of a free-to-play game in a pay-to-play game. Hot take, survivors who don't just leave once everyone is safe, teabag and flashlight clicks, and killers who tease survivors with hatch, then close it, proceed to tease them with the gate before finally killing them, are more likely than not absolute worst players. Skill-wise, yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. You mean they're not good at the game? Yeah. No. This is correct. This is the correct take. This is the correct take. People who are like obnoxiously toxic, and like BM at the end game and be like, look at me, I won. They're the worst fucking players in the game. They're like absolutely dog shit at the game. I think that the labels uncommon, rare, and very rare are very stupid, silly, cringe, and unnecessary for perks because you'll be running the very rare perks literally 100% of the time, and if you don't, it's just because you just got that perk. I'm not complaining about the perks having 3 levels, just complaining about the rarity categorization names when the game came out. I think that the labels on perks is probably more your issue because, like, labels on add-ons are important. Labels on skins are useless. Labels on perks I can see being useless. I think their only purpose is to how much blood points the perk cost. But labels on add-ons are definitely, and items are definitely needed. Okay, I'm going to add another hot take. It's been fucking... You did this 2 days ago. You can't do... No, I'm just kidding. Okay. The more hours you got on both sides, the better you understand about... I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a regular take. I would say everyone below 1,000 hours or people who only play one side will normally not fully understand. Normally true. I once had a discussion with someone who had just turned out to be right in the end. It also turned out that this person had 10,000 hours in the game. For reference, I have 3,300 hours, which isn't much by today's standards, but it is enough that I can say people under 1,000 hours have no idea. So we went from normally to complete generalization, and I don't like this idea so much. I understand it as somebody who's approaching the 1,000-hour mark. I understand it. But you got to take into account how much somebody's willing to learn during those 1,000 hours. Like, if you just try to learn just by playing the game, then yeah, it's going to take you 1,000 hours to figure out what the hell you're talking about. But if you're somebody like me who takes the extra time to go out of their way to learn about the game, then it's not going to take you as long. That being said, I'm still a fucking idiot, and I don't want you guys to have the wrong idea. Especially if they only play one role, yes. That being said, I still think we should listen to what they have to say as long as it isn't trolling, because we need to understand what it is they're unhappy with, so other began... Yes. I personally think that just saying skill issue when someone has a complaint about something, even if it is unironically a skill issue, is one of the lamest fucking comebacks in the entire goddamn world. You need to legitimately have an actual reasoning behind why something is a skill issue and teach people who have the skill issue so that maybe they can improve. Just saying skill issue is fucking worthless, bro. It's so worthless. I think many of the players who claim one has to camp or tunnel to win as killer have merely cheesed their own MMR to a higher level that they can't handle by doing just that. Ooh. I like this one. Hold on. By focusing on winning single games over getting slowly better over time, you basically screw yourself. You reach high MMR, winning a fraction of the chases that the survivors you're up against have won. For an arbitrary example, let's say it normally takes winning 10,000 chases to be high MMR. Well, if you over-rely on camping and tunneling, you may reach it in, say, 1 to 2,000 chases. Like spamming a hard to block move over and over again in a fighting game will work and you will get wins and climb later, except you've done this without actually getting better at the game. So this is actually what I was talking about with Noed earlier. When I was saying it teaches bad habits, this is basically the same thing. Except that Gold Kitsu Brony, fucking amazing name. Gold Kitsune Brony here is what they're saying is that the bad habit in this case is camping and tunneling. And camping and tunneling is fine. I've said this in the past, and it is a viable strategy, but only in certain situations. And I think that a lot of lower skill killers try to utilize camping and tunneling in every situation, and that ends up fucking them. So yeah, 100% agree. Huntress is extremely unfun to play against. No, She's really fun to play against. I love it. I don't know why, but the lullaby is really getting under my skin lately. Don't know how her main stand to constantly listen to it. It feels like you just got some auditory issues, which I'm autistic, so I completely understand. I feel like she gets a lot of bullshit hits around corners and stuff. Plus, it's really hard to save against a camping one in solo queue. Kind of miserable. I mean, really hard to save against a camping one in solo queue. Yeah, because her range is really hard. Bullshit hits around corners. The thing is that if you play her a lot, you'll also know that this bullshit hits around corners also works in the opposite way, where something will clearly be supposed to hit a survivor and it doesn't. And sometimes your hatches just break on the fucking water molecules in the air. It gets really annoying sometimes. This is probably another one. Licensed chapters are always superior to originals? No. Compare the quality of Wesker and Xeno to the last 3 originals. It's obvious what gets more care. I wouldn't say the quality of Wesker is that high. I mean, granted, Wesker's like a really good killer, but also his collision logic is some of the biggest dog shit collision logic in the game. When I see that it's another original chapter, I just kind of shrug. I don't care at all. I feel like this is just from like a lack of excitement. One more. You could have put this all in one comment, my friend. But this is the last one, so we'll go with it. Another Resident Evil chapter would be no, 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 no more Resident Evil chapters. No more fucking Resident Evil chapters. For God's sakes, we do not need more Resident Evil. No more Resident Evil chapters. Fuck me. Okay. And that's sorry. That's the video, guys. So currently, as of making this outro, it is 51 minutes of length. I do not think I want to upload a 51-minute long video. You know what? Actually, fuck it. We're going to upload a 51-minute video reacting to your hot takes. I'm probably not going to overlay any gameplay. I'm just going to have the stuff on screen that I just recorded, just without my face cam. So if you guys want to, well, you guys want to be able to pause and read them, you can. We're just going to start from there. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was my thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Also, if you guys aren't aware, we do have a merch shop that you're more than welcome to check out. It's linked in the description. And until October 1st, you can use code BIRDMOMMY for 10% out at checkout. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's really, really long, but people said they wanted longer videos, and this was the perfect opportunity. So yeah, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.